Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I have a really cool deck here showcasing some of the new cards in the new set. Silver Tempest, I believe, is the name, and I was lucky enough to be gifted or lended these cards by someone in the For the Win TCG Discord server. So there should be a link down below to that if you're interested in checking that out. But getting into the deck, it's based around, as I said, Alolan Vulpix V STAR, a new V STAR with an abysmal 240 HP, but that's the only bad thing about this card. It has an amazing attack, Snow Mirage, 160 for water colorless, so pretty easy to pay, and it says this attack's damage is, it hits through effects, which is cool, and it also means you're immune to Pokemon with an ability during your next turn. So that includes most of the best decks, like some of the Lost Zone attackers. Also, something like Gudra V STAR, Zoroark V STAR, Palkia V STAR, Arceus V STAR. You can get KO'd by Mew VMAX, which is a bit scary, and you can get KO'd by Giratina, which is a bit scary. But overall, it's a very strong effect. And you can also you're immune to Regidrago V STAR, and Reggie, or not Reggie, the other new deck, Lugia V STAR, which is a really good deck. And there are some other good new cards that also generally have abilities. And so this walls off pretty much everything that's good in the game right now. And so you could play as the main attacker, you could play as a tech card, but here it's the main attacker, and we have V STAR Power as an attack. It's for free, which is amazing if we can't fulfill that energy cost, which you're not always able to do, although generally it's not too bad. But it does 70 for each of your Pokemon's, your opponent's Pokemon V in play. And most decks, as I said, have a lot of Pokemon V, like V STAR decks. And so this can, against Mew VMAX, which I said was a bad matchup, they might have 5 Pokemon V in play, which case you'll just one-shot their V STAR. And honestly, it's just it's so good. It's a free attack and does massive damage. So amazing there. And then we also have another attacker teched in, a Suicune V, in case we just need a little extra oomph or want a basic attacker or whatever. And honestly, the Alolan Vulpix V isn't too bad. It does, for free, it does 60 to a Pokemon V, or 110 for water colorless. So it's certainly okay. Not great, but we got Suicune there to cover things up. And then we have a really strong engine here as well. We have Melony's and also double turbo energy to fulfill our attack cost, as well as, of course, water energy. And also we have the Rayquaza VMAX engine, which I've been messing around with a lot recently. We play 1 Lumineon and 1 Adventurous Discovery to set our board up, getting 3 Pokemon V into play, which are both our attackers and our support. And so if you've ever played Tapu Lele GX with Bridget back in the Sun and Moon era, it's very similar to that. And we also have Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, and Great Ball to hopefully get our Pokemon out turn 1. And boss, Marnie, research, we have a Raihan. Pretty standard stuff. You also have 2 Collapsed Stadium, which can reduce our opponent's bench, also reduce our bench by allowing us to get rid of Lumineon if we want to do that, and Lost Vacuum to remove Past the Peak, and any other tool cards our opponent's going to throw at us, which could be a bit scary. And overall, I've just tested this deck a little, but it already feels really strong. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a bit expensive, but it's not too much compared to stuff like Lugia and Regidrago, I think. So yes, it's fun if you can get your hands on it. I'd highly recommend it. And let's see what our opponent's playing, because it is a bit of a situational deck, because it has some matchups that just breezes through, it breezes through most matchups with the Pokemon with abilities. Our opponent's going second. Our opponent's going first. We're going second, which is fine. And so we can go ahead and use our attack white drop here to get some damage on the board turn 1, and that feels fine. And this hand's looking pretty good as well. We lose boss turn 1, but it's not too bad. Ideally, we top deck something that gets us our Lumineon, so we can get ourselves that copy of Adventurous Discovery if that's in deck. But if we don't get that, it's not a big deal. So our deck's designed to get that, but if it misses, it's fine. Oh, and we're against the new Morpeko deck, which is the new, Pikachu clone deck. So these can only attack if certain Pokemon attack last turn. It's an interesting deck. It's not an ability deck, so they can hit us. Ooh, and we have to lose that Rayquaza turn 1. A bit sketchy there, but it's not the end of the world, so I'll just go ahead and research. Hopefully our other one's not prized, though. That would be bad. And yeah, this looks fine. We could Collapsed Stadium, but I don't see a need for that just yet. So I'll Great Ball here, I guess, and we hit another Alolan Vulpix, so that's fine. And we can just hit in to them for just 10 damage, which is fine. It doesn't really do anything, but it's good to get damage on the board, and their deck's really slow, so it's really funky. It does so this attack does 60 to all of my Pokemon, and this attack does it doesn't one-shot us, but it gets pretty close, which is scary. But it's kind of weird. They're gonna need like they only do it if they use a certain attack last turn. I believe it's the Dedenne, which is it doesn't really do too much. There's the Toga, which is the first attacker, which doesn't do too much, and the deck's clunky. So I wonder what they're gonna do here. But their deck's really fun. I recommend you all also pick this one up. Losing Chinchino, which hurts. Oh, and they're playing that new supporter card, Serena, which provides gusting and draw. So that's really good for them. With they got Radiant Greninja, but I want to pop down a Collapsed Stadium. I could have put that down before, but I didn't feel the need to. And so they're going to go ahead, Tokyo and try to mess with us a little, because that, if they flip heads, they're immune to, well, they don't get knocked out. So I wonder how this deck's going to go for them. I think it's pretty consistent, but also at the same time, it's a low power level deck. So let's see what they go in with here. Just going to Toga Dash. Let's see, do they flip heads? They also hit us for weakness with that. And yeah, so now they're immune, well, to giving up prizes. Kind of a weird effect, but going to go ahead and start off, I think, with a... we can get rid of this Marnie. We're not going to need that. I'll grabbing Suicune feels fine here. And then we're going to go ahead and Melony, so we can guarantee get the attack this turn. Although we won't take any prizes. And now they're going to go in with Dedenne next turn. But I'll Collapse Stadium just to apply a bit of pressure to their bench. They're going to get rid of, I imagine, that more Pico. But that's fine. And so now they're pinched a little because they're just losing some bench space, which clearly they want to fill up their board. And we don't really need to, so good for us. And we can just go ahead and Frost Smash, I think. They're not going to be able to KO us next turn, which is really good. And yeah, I'm not super familiar with their deck, but it's interesting because it is able to... I was waiting to draw a prize there, but I always think if you KO stuff that doesn't give up prizes, I am always used to taking prizes. But luckily, an online client, it doesn't let you do that. But they don't have a high damage output until they can start hitting us with that Pikachu, which is really scary. But aside from that, it's not too much to worry about. They're going to go ahead and get their next attacker, I think, Dedenne, if I had to guess. And I don't know if they can get it in the active. But yeah, so... Oh, it paralyzes me. So yeah, as I said, I'm not super familiar with what they're doing. But I definitely want to get... I want to evolve here, so I can escape that paralysis, and that'll be really good. And I don't know if they're even going to be able to get into the active. So if they miss that... Obviously, one, it's bad because... they're not applying pressure, and two, it's bad because now their like attack cycle resets, and they need to attack with Togedemaru again, which they don't even have in play. So that'll feel pretty bad for them. Keep in mind, this Radiant Greninja actually will survive if we hit into it with Frost Smash. Sorry, I can't talk today, but that's interesting. Certainly a strong play by them, because they're like denying a prize, or they're forcing me to evolve, which will mean that I can't evolve out of paralysis because evolving removes special conditions. But I have a feeling that, well, honestly, if they go ahead and just leave that Radiant Greninja in the active, that means they're not attacking. And they missed energy and switches already, and they're down Pokemon as well. Okay, I think they have it here. But yeah, as I said, we can just evolve out. So they have the paralysis turn. Yeah, training quit as well, so that's good for them. Let's see what we have. No energy in the discard pile just yet, so hopefully we can get there. And I probably hold the Suicune because it's weak to Pikachu, and that feels just kind of bad because we're going to get one-shotted. So they can technically one-shot Vulpix, but they're much more likely to one-shot that Suicune, especially if I'm just feeding it to them. So a prize trade this matchup's a bit awkward because they're going to be able to just really go for it. Especially that heads there obviously allowed them to stay in the game a bit better. But now we can just, of course, evolve out of that. Air Balloon here. Certainly a solid prize. And I'll get rid of this Suicune. We can thin something else out. Probably that Rayquaza. We don't need that. Oh, and our other VMAX is prized. As I remember earlier, I said hopefully the other one's not prized. It is, but it's not the end of the world either. And we can go ahead and grab our Vulpix off of this. So that feels good now that we're able to set up an attacker and hopefully have another one on the bench. We still have a lot of energy left in deck too, and those energy acceleration cards, Melony and Raihan, are just so good. The fact that water decks have access to both of them, it's really... Water is probably the best type right now, and that's a big part of why. This hand, though, we can go ahead and evolve this, or attach this other Alolan Vulpix. And I guess we'll also just Snow Mirage. Also, Silvery Snowstar. I haven't actually read that attack name before, but it's the RV Star power. But unfortunately, it doesn't do anything this matchup because they don't have any Pokemon V. So we could add in that new tool called, I think, Force Seal Stone. However, obviously that will stop us. It allows us to have a V-Star power on any Pokemon, except now that uses up your V-Star power for the game. It allows you to search for any card, so great consistency. But it's obviously not great because now you don't have access to the Silvery Snowstar. But if you don't need Silvery Snowstar, using Force Steel Stone. Oh wow, these names are probably getting very confusing for you. But if you can go ahead and use the V-Star power of the item card, you don't need to, and you don't need it for the other card. Sorry, this is a big mess of what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is it's fine. Let's see though. Now they're gonna have to reset back to where they were before. They're gonna have to go back in with their bad attackers, and that feels really good for us. We're down at boss's orders already, but that's fine. So I'll Training Court, grab an energy back. More cards just feels good here. And ideally, we can also limit their energy. So I'll Collapsed Stadium again. And we're probably going to play that Lumineon. And we can't remove it with Collapsed Stadium now. But I'm not too worried. Because, honestly, they're not applying a ton of pressure. And they really need to get rid of that Vulpix as well. I did attach this turn. So I can go ahead with this. Do Frost Smash. As I said, Alolan Vulpix V is a very capable attacker. It's not the best, but it's far from the worst either. We hit a V-Star off of the prizes as well, which feels good. Our opponent is in the commanding position now, though, because of the prize trade. But as I said, they're not going to take a prize this turn. So the question is, with Toga Dash, which, as I said, makes them immune to, or not give up prizes, are they going to be able to flip heads? And if they flip heads, that's obviously really good for them. But if they don't flip heads, then we're just fine attacking into them. And if they do flip heads, I'll probably grab boss's orders. So let's see. Serena, they're going to gust something up that Alolan Vulpix on the bench. I'm fine with that. I can Air Balloon it out of the active, which feels perfectly fine. And they do flip heads. Okay, that's fine. We can go ahead and Lumineon here. Gonna grab that boss's order. Wait, is it all your Pokemon? No, it's only... Yeah, I wanted to make sure it was just Togedemaru, which it is. It says if this Pokemon is knocked out during my opponent's next turn, which is my turn, your opponent can't take any prizes for it, but it's only that Pokemon. So I'll go ahead, boss's orders up that Dedenne, looking very scary for me right there. So I feel fine with that. Gonna get in a slightly better spot in terms of prize trade. And I'm wondering about this Air Balloon. I think I just actually retreat here, hard retreat. Gonna go ahead and how many Melonies are we down? 2 Melonies, 0 Raihans. So I'll just hard retreat off this Alolan Vulpix. Of course, reattach to it. And now we really don't need any of these cards. We can thin them. I'll Ultra Ball away these, I think. And yeah, we can grab this out of our deck too, which feels cool. Maybe I discard the wrong cards, but it's not a big deal. Now I'll get back boss's orders, and I think possibly a Melony as well, giving us a bit more maneuverability. but I actually think we're fine in terms of that. So I'll just recover those 2 bosses' orders so we can threaten exactly what we need to on our opponent's side of the board to hopefully best stop their deck from working. And so now they're going to go ahead, and they need to attack with this Dedenne, and they're down 3. Oh boy. So they're going to need to rescue carrier, I imagine. I don't think they play 4 Dedenne. It's not impossible, but it's a lot of deck spots. They're already playing 3. I'm not even sure if I'd play that many. And also, guys, do you want to see me play this deck? Comment down below what you want to see me play from the new set. Yeah, Rescue Carrier. If they already played one, no. That's their first one. They're going to get back Dedenne and something else. So, yeah, get Dedenne and Pikachu, their best attacker in this matchup, because it just does big damage. And so they'll 2-shot my Vulpix, but now I'm ahead in the prize trade. And also, I'm surprised they sent up Chinchino. It doesn't really matter too much what they sent up, though. I feel like Togedemaru might have been a bit of a safer play because they can just attack with it and it doesn't feel too bad, but they went with that play, and that's fine. So now I expect, Dedenne coming in, but we can, of course, evolve out of that paralysis, assuming they don't mess with our hand here, which is, of course, possible. So hopefully we top deck boss's orders. Oh, they're going to mess up our hand, which is unfortunate. And if we don't evolve out of this, this will feel pretty bad. But I'm not. I think we can evolve out of it. I'd be surprised if we can't. Yeah, we can. So no energy drop feels kind of bad. We could Melony this turn, though, and I think I'm okay with that. I was originally thinking boss's orders. Oh, we have Training Court, too, so that's nice. Not too nice. I'd rather have the Collapsed Stadium limiting their bench, but Training Court doesn't feel too bad. And so they're going to go ahead and paralyze us, as I said. But I can go ahead. I guess I'll Melony to the bench first. Or I could try to boss that Pikachu. Bosses ordering that Pikachu just feels so good. I'll Training Court. I'd love to get rid of their Training Court as well, especially because they almost definitely have an attacker. I mean, they have that more Pico they can attack with, which they don't hate. But I think we need to Ultra Ball, and I think we get rid of decisions. I'll get rid of Lost Vacuum Great Ball. We get the energy drop, which feels good. We get the attack, which also feels good, and we get the boss, which feels good. And so taking out that Pikachu, if they don't attack with Pikachu, we're in a great spot. Even if they do attack with Pikachu, we're in an okay spot. So go ahead there, and we still have draw power next turn as well. It's it's so annoying we can't use Silvery Snowstar though, because V-Star powers are just so good in the meta right now. And honestly, if you're playing a deck that doesn't use one, you should find a way to slot one in there. Alolan Vulpix is certainly fine as a free attacker. Something like Arceus V-Star or Force Seal Stone are also great options. Slotting, I don't know, Hisuian Zorak V-Star in the deck could be okay. There are tons of ways, so we're going to see what they're going to go for here, though. They can't attack with the Dedenne, or maybe they can use Tail Smack, but that's bad. And so they're going to go for Pikachu. Okay, they play 3. They play a lot of attackers in this deck, and they're going to have access to that with the Training Court. Yeah, they have basic energy there. So they do pick up the KO, but I think I'm fine as long as they don't get really lucky with the Togedemaru and stuff. So, of course, as I said, we can pick up the KO on this Pikachu, and we should be able to win this prize trade, assuming we can hit the boss's orders if they flip heads on that Togedemaru. Although I don't think I'm too worried about it, because we can also evolve out of the Dedenne. The best, I should have sent up the other attacker. It doesn't matter too much, but Marnie could be good here, but we don't need it. Ooh, interesting cards. Not that interesting, I guess. Lost Vacuum is an option. We could get rid of that Training Court, and I don't think I hate that. Removing some of their options just feels good here. So, yeah, I'll make that play. Get rid of this, get rid of that. And we don't need to attach. That just seems kind of silly. So, go ahead and Frost Smash. But as I was saying, their deck is a disruption-based deck until they build up to that big damage. So they have Togedemaru And, oh, we got Boss, so amazing prize pull. Giving us the Well Played, which I'm thinking, yeah, just means I concede. I want to check their deck if it's public. It might not be. It's not, but I'm just playing with some pretty thick lines to get as consistent as possible with the attackers, but cutting into their engine. They barely had an engine that game. Cutting into their like supporters as well. They didn't really have very good supporters. So let's hop into another game, and hopefully I can show off the power of the deck. Certainly the power of Alolan Vulpix V was shown off that game, but the V-Star's really where the big power comes in. And honestly, that Pikachu deck it's not that good, I don't think. I think most decks can combat it pretty well. We're against Count the Money here. Let's see what they're going to do. See if their deck's blinged like they say it is. But we got an interesting opening hand here. We're going second, which feels kind of bad, but not super bad. And we get, hopefully, that turn 1 Lumineon, which would be really good. Honestly, you don't usually get it with this deck. Mostly because you're choosing to go first. But it's certainly a really good play when it happens. They play Path Pumpkaboo. This could be Mew, but this could be a number of other things as well. This could be Arceus. It's probably one of those two if I had to guess. It is Arceus, so they're going to... Is this Arceus flying Pikachu? It very well could be. But that Suicune start for us feels okay. I would have rather started Alolan Vulpix, but it's not a big deal. And they're Ultra Balling away. They're down 2 Path already. And Path's so good because for them in this matchup because it allows them to actually hit into our Alolan Vulpix because it removes the ability. So now they're no longer a Pokemon with ability, and so they can hit through our Alolan Vulpix, but they're getting rid of those. So that's really good for us. Now, let's start with a fleet-footed draw card here. Alolan Vulpix, not a bad pull, but not the best one either. I don't think we need all these Ultra Balls, but if they Marnie us, I'd like to have them in the deck still. Quick Ball here, though, we got Lumineon. Do we have Adventurous Discovery? We do. So that's looking really good for us. We still have a few Ultra Balls in hand, so you can see the power this turn 1 Adventurous Discovery. And I'll obviously put that Alolan Vulpix down. Grab another Alolan Vulpix. We prize some stuff. That's fine. We're probably getting Marnied here. So I really don't need 3 Vs in play, though. So I'll grab a V-Star. That's fine. And I don't think I attach active. It feels kind of weird. I guess I could. I don't hate that play. But I think we can definitely hit Air Balloon, so I'll go ahead and attach to one of these Vulpix on the bench. Vulpix? I think it might be a Alolan Vulpix. I'm not sure, though. It sounds a bit weird all around. But yeah, we can get energy in play. I'm actually dropping some frames here, unfortunately. Yes, the card's just that good. But maybe it's the presence of Arceus that is causing it. Grass Arceus, interesting. I wonder if they're playing a Beedrill in their deck, which could pose as a bit of a problem as well, because that would one-shot us for 1 energy on a single prizer. They're going to Serena up our Alolan Vulpix too? Oh, no. Okay. So, yeah, Serena, as I said, Gus or Dross. Oh, it's Regidrago. An interesting Pokemon. If they play Duraludon... So, Regidrago V-Star copies Dragon Pokemon from the discard, and they're going to go ahead Starbirth to get some more stuff going. I'm not exactly sure what they want here. Excuse me. But probably a Switch. I think that's what they want. Or maybe a Scoop Up Net or something. They probably just play Switch. Now we see a Bidoof there and a Switch, yeah. So they need some Pokemon to copy, and they got Path down, but they're dropping it. It feels a bit preemptively. We don't have the response KO yet, but as I said, not too worried about it. That Path, quite annoying, but at least it didn't stop our turn 1 Lumineon. So now I think I send up this one without any energy, and now we can just go for that Silvery Snowstar. Ooh, we top deck energy. That's interesting, and actually, I think I Ultra Ball away Water and Ultra Ball, and we Raihan here, because now we can Raihan, which feels good. So I'll go get rid of these. Yeah, I like this play a lot. So now we can go ahead and get our deck moving a bit. we'll grab this Rayquaza VMAX. As I said, getting the deck moving feels great here. And also going to play that there. Alolan Vulpix the active. Gonna Raihan to the bench now, I think. I'm not actually sure where I want to Raihan. Either feels okay. I'm tempted actually to say to the active so that we can possibly attack with Snow Mirage this turn. That would feel so good. So yeah, I'll Raihan to the active, and then we're just going to grab... We got two options. We could Lost Vacuum, or we could Collapsed Stadium. And I think I like Collapsed Stadium a bit more here. We don't need... it's so interesting. Collapsed Stadium, I think, provides a bit more of a benefit, though, because we just block off a bench space for them. And we're not applying a ton of damage pressure right now. So we just, most importantly, need to remove that path, though. So if we do that, we can go ahead and Azure Pulse? Is it Azure? I don't know. Ooh, we get the Snow Mirage. Let's go. Okay, so now we can just wall them off. And now they're going to be staring at us like, what? Or they're going to be staring at us like, my opponent's so bad, I have counters in my hand, which they might have. As I said, it's questionable against Regidrago because if they can use Regidrago, copy Duraludon VMAX, stick a Choice Belt, and they one-shot us. So, or they might have other ways, but it's mostly that, and that's obviously bad for us. The big thing about Alolan Vulpix is survivability despite its low HP, and also its versatility with its V-Star power. So they're going to go ahead and get some dragons in the discard, I predict. No, they don't have... Oh, sorry, they have Duraludon in the discard already. They have a Choice Belt on the active already as well. They're going to get that Giratina, which it doesn't really matter, honestly. It's not doing anything else that their other attackers aren't. So Giratina does big damage, but it's blocked off by Regidrago's ability is stopping it from being able to do any damage. So that's not a worry for us. But the question, as I said, is do they have Choice Belt? And Choice Belt's bad for us. In which case we probably lose if they have Choice Belt, unfortunately. Because they'll be able to hit through all of our Alolan Vulpixes. And they also might have Garchomp V, which will snipe around. So if they have Belt here, we're really in a bad position. But if they don't, we're in a really great position. So if they somehow drop another Pokemon V as well, which isn't even possible right now into the Collapsed Stadium, then we can one-shot them with Alolan Vulpix V-Star power. They're going to Serena. Are they going to gust us up? Probably, yeah. They're going to take out this Alolan Vulpix V. Really scary there. They attached a barrel also, which is a bit of an interesting play. But as I said, very scared right now. They take some prizes. And I guess, I don't know, we'll just see how this goes. We top deck Boss, which is interesting. As I said, we could start targeting down this Regidrago, which is really the scary threat on my opponent's side of the board. We could also... I think we go after Regidrago here. We need to take it out as soon as possible. And as I said, if they get that going, they're going to win. And so they might just have game in hand, which feels really bad because we're just bringing it up for them. But I think that's the play. I'll attach the Lumineon. It's a theoretically viable attacker. Great Ball here feels fine as well, and we hit another V-Star. I guess I'll take that to thin my deck. We don't need another one, but I'm going to go Snow Mirage, and hopefully it comes in clutch here. There's also a very real possibility that my opponent will misplay here and like use Lost Impact or something. Probably not. They would have used it last turn if they thought that would get the KO, but do they have Choice Belt? Choice Belt's a game for them. But they're attaching fire there, so they're just thinning their hand to see how much they can draw. But I don't think it's going to be a ton. Who knows, though. And they don't have access to Raihan, so that's really nice. And how many boss? I think just one. We're down one boss. No Pal Pad, so hopefully we hit boss's orders on our next turn here. And if they retreat. Oh, they have it, though. They have the Gust as well, which as I said, also wins in the game. So... yeah, Regidrago is such a strong card. And Alolan Vulpix, it's good. Obviously, we went second as well, which hurt us quite a bit that game, but still very good. You saw the power of it, but yeah, that's all we have for today. I'm gonna go back to the deck list. Really interesting deck, but as I said, I highly recommend you check it out. Also, variants. I'm gonna comment down below what variant you want me to see me play, but I think I'm gonna do Palkia Alolan Vulpix. Certainly a bit more oomph there, or Ice Rider Alolan Vulpix. One of those two, possibly really strong, or all three of them together. But yeah, the Rayquaza engine's really good as well if you have the right attacker, and I think I'm almost there. But comment down below what you want to see me play from the new set, what you're excited to play, what you've tried out, the list will be down below. Again, shoutouts to the For the Win TCG Discord server for someone there giving me the cards for that. This deck, it's really great, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.